He didn't line up with Blade, didn't line up with Nano, and while in theory it's very sound, Legion definitely feeling the lack of damage at points with that specific composition. Because in the past, you would have your flex tank play Sombra, and then potentially have somebody else on another DPS. Now, as we head into King's Row, no Sombras, no Genjis, no shenanigans, just some Hanzos and their pointy instruments. As Gladiators Legions open on attack, this is their map choice since they lost Anubis, third impact on the defense first. No Mercy on that side. We've seen Baptiste more and more often, and he provides a ton of utility. But once that immortality field is gone, you have to be very concerned with your opponents just getting in your face.
Gladiators Legion already trying to contest the objective. Talk about get in your face, and it's forcing third impact to react, and they reacted accordingly and well. As Onigot and Salty going to find some kills. Nice headshot from Onigot. It's going to really open things up for the team up third impact, especially with the immortality field already on the ground. Gladiators Legion going to have to invest their cooldown of that immortality field as well. Onigot going to take it down very, very quickly. So Legion are going to be very vulnerable to any and all damage coming their way. You're going to see them try to reset.
Crucial here for third impact to have won this initial fight, because it's very difficult to come back when you are a diva against Roadhog. I've said it a zillion times, but just going to hammer it home a little bit more. And third impact have adapted. You saw how the Mei was focusing Emil down, taking down the immortality field and freezing the Hog in place. So even if he's alive, he's not doing anything for Legion.
Nice hook, though, is going to take down the Baptiste. That's a big tick, but that's no Amp Matrix, no Immortality Field. You're going to be much safer than the other side is going to be. So the Immortality Field is there long enough to keep Legion alive and re-engage in this fight. As Dragon Strike is going to come in from third impact first, and Onigot got that so quickly. Gladiators Legion had to react, and they had to give a little bit of space, but with Dalton starting to pop off here for the Legion, they are going to get at least a couple ticks here on point A.
Ooh, and Water, we might see a little bit more Genji shenanigans. There's still a Hanzo back here. Another duel for the ages, helped out by a great call from Legion stand 1. But it's not over just yet.
Dragon Strike's going to try to isolate and separate some of third impact. That it does, and that's another ultimate that these Hanzos develop so quickly. You can use it to capture a point, even if you're already ahead in numbers. So Gladiators Legion also have the whole hog in Transcendence. We're seeing Zenyatta kind of sprinkled into some of these team comps, and something that we've actually noticed from these Zenyatas is because there's no grab, an obvious time to Transcendence, we're free to Transcendence at different times, potentially even use it more often as a tempo Transcendence. But these players are also still figuring out when that is. They haven't had the exact practice to know exactly when these Transcendences will have the most impact. So they've been hit and miss. We're going to have that self-destruct make it behind the shield. The immortality field is there. Water going to get frozen up. He wasn't on Genji for long, as third impact also going to have to use the defense matrix to stop the whole hog and keep how much space that Roadhog already created for Gladiators Legion. And that gives them more options, more time to decide how to actually approach this fight. They're using that time and those options to the best of their ability, as Gladiators Legion are going to push through the
Kills, cooldowns, and time are not the only resources that these teams are jockeying for in Overwatch. It's also space. And Salty being forced to use that defense matrix to absorb Emil's whole hog meant that Gladiators Legion could push up more comfortably. The Reaper has more time to react and more time to build that Death Blossom, which is a narrative by 9 seconds away from completion.
Supercharger and the Coalesce coming from and one with Supercharger is going to boost up this Blizzard damage. It is enough to try to zone away from the payload. Death Blossom is going to be it for third impact. That's 3 kills for Dalton and 4 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock to finish off King's Row.
Dalton was such a big part of Gladiators Legion's success in the quarterfinals matchup. It's really nice to see him popping off now again, both on the Hanzo and on the Reaper. It's always nice to have multiple DPS threats who have that hot hand. And third impact, ooh, great hook as well. Salty's taken low force to use that matrix. That's more knowledge and more resources drawn out by Legion.
And look at how much space that they're giving them right now. Third impact is letting this payload move forward, even though the Blizzard's going to be a great way to try to stop it, as Zolik finally finds the pick for third impact. He had it, invest the sound barrier into it, and Transcendence was not enough for Legion to stay in this fight. And even after giving up all that space, they do end up finding a defense that they will take the payload back.
Good Blizzard by Apply there, and even though Rolf tranced correctly on time, It's 300 HPS, so that's overtime healing, and not going to do much against burst damage from a right click by the Mei.
Umte's going to use that supercharger. Onigod has the Death Blossom, and we've seen how these Death Blossoms can change the tempo of a singular fight, and they usually come out in that mid-fight when no one's really expecting it. When you're clenched up, and you're like, when is this Death Blossom coming? We know it's going to be here.
When your cooldowns are already all burned, that's when Reapers are hoping to strike. So Onigod gets an off angle here.
It's a really good thing. All the stuff they ripped off the map is way here. You can find that initial pick, but Onigod's going to use that Death Blossom and only get one. He does the D-neck as well, but that's going to be enough. One kill is all you're going to need sometimes. The Blizzard also going to be coming through, this time from Water. Water has been pretty suspect of using these ultimates, but is it going to work out this time? I just can't help but think that if he just waited another 15 seconds, he could have had all 6 members and a better opportunity to throw that Blizzard out. There's one coming from the other side now, and that is nothing really happens with the Blizzard coming from Legion.
Yeah, they tried to tempo things even down a member, maybe catch third impact off guard, but Salty reacts with that self-destruct. It's actually a great tool to make sure that Legion can't aggress on the Blizzard and find those follow-up kills. They have to respect the self-destruct. So both teams, very spent in terms of ultimates. Legion are coming up on, do have their Death Blossom on hand, and Third Impact are coming up on the Supercharger, but so far it's kind of been a case of welcome to Bunker, where everything's made up and the ults don't seem to matter.
This one might matter though, as there's no ultimates for Third Impact for the time being. 2 support ultimates could come online, but if Dalton finds himself at nice little flank, he could Death Blossom into the back line, but that's not going to be the case, as the ultimates do come through. The Supercharger definitely helps zoning away Gladiators Legion. They're waiting for the Supercharger to deplete, and then that's when we're going to see the fireworks.
That's when the fireworks are going to explode, but if they wait much longer, Onigods might be the one that's Death Blossoming in Legion's backline. It's a shield battle for the ages. Both sides trying to play keep away. You see Onigod attempting to go on the flank, but Dalton finds him out.
He's going for it. He's into the back line. The Death Blossom takes down at least one, maybe two, but the defense definitely depletes some of that damage. One Death Blossom is way better than the other, and that Death Blossom belongs to Gladiators Legion, as Dalton is going to take the payload right back from Third Impact. Here is the end game here of King's Row. Less than a minute left, and Legion do have ultimates they can use, so do Third Impact. This could go either way, Ham.
But Legion have sound barriers, so even if Apply lays down the Blizzard of a lifetime, Legion could just walk out of it.
That's exactly what they're going to do. The sound barrier goes through, but too much damage now from Third Impact is going to take them down. But this is one of those situations where you may have won a little too cleanly. You're giving Gladiators Legion another opportunity to finish this map.
One more opportunity, and this could be where everything happens, folks. Dalton is leading in terms of that ultimate charge, so Third Impact could well be extending their sound barrier before they really want to. So if Emil can get a bomb, throw it out first.
He's gonna throw it out, doesn't find anybody, needs to get that shield first, wait for the other list of then bomb. Gladiators Legion to find that initial pick. They find 3 actually, so this is a 6v2 to 5v2 now, as Third Impact struggling to stay alive on the payload. That up-tempo swing for Gladiators Legion seems to have come from nowhere as they just walk onto the payload and finish the map. Third Impact will need to match 3 points if they want to stay in King's Row. This has been a very good series so far. Both of these teams much more evenly matched than our last series, and this I think can still go either way.
It really can. Both of the teams very evenly matched for a long portion of this third point battle, but in the end, it was Emil's initial bomb. I was like, hey, Third Impact have a sound barrier. Legion gotta know that he's been holding on to this for a while. Emil throws the bomb first, draws that sound barrier out. So even if Legion hadn't managed to find those good old vanilla picks, once Dalton gets the Death Blossom and unleashes it on the cart, Third Impact will be wiped. So the win conditions were there for Legion. They just had to figure out that timing. And while it, eluded them at moments on Anubis, it came together on King's Row.
Third Impact will have to come back and try to get 3 points themselves. The Third Impact also running Onigod and Apply this time on King's Row. It was very similar. I think that's who they ran on the last map as well. And how are you liking this? We're not seeing a lot of WUB, and one of the biggest challenges I think that WUB and Onigod had before was how similar their hero pools were, and that kind of took away some of the versatility that someone like Apply might be able to add to this team. And
To apply to
yeah,
the team. Sorry.
and to boo yourself.
Boo.
And so third impact now with Apply. One of the issues with Apply on Revival was the fact that he was never with his team in terms of when he was good, the team wasn't.
Yeah.
And then when the team was good, he was nowhere to be found. And we're actually seeing a little bit of that here on King's Row.
Just a tad, but Third Impact have swapped things up a little bit for their own offense. So Apply is going to be on the Mei and Onigod on the Hanzo. So sometimes, you know, you just need to shake things up, keep the marriage fresh. So like again on the Baptiste with Rob Dab now on the Zenyatta. Legion though have Wolf's Ana here, so you got to be watching out for those anti-nades. That's one of the many things that Salty needs to gobble up to keep his team healthy and maintain that forward momentum.
Again, do you eat the halt? Do you eat the nade? Do you save it for the storm bows from Adultkin? The divas have to be so much more wrinkle-free than they have been before, especially since now teams are running members that are good against diva. When a Mei freezes a diva, that's a free ultimate going into the other way, especially if there's a Roadhog on the other team. But interestingly enough, neither of these teams really running a ton of Roadhog during the semifinal game. Remember, whoever wins this semifinal goes to South Korea. These two teams are tied, and winning this next map will put you at match point for the final. Great headshot onto Onigod. That's just what you call reaction time there, as Third Impact find that initial pick. Emil trying to zone out this Hanzo. He's very close to doing it. He doesn't have a lot of HP remaining, but the D-Max actually going to come just in time. As Salty going to protect his Hanzo, but Emil just going to do it the old-fashioned way with the Bunny Blaster, but that's going to be the only positive thing that happens for Gladiators. The Third Impact will take an easy point A. The way that Salty came out and helped his friend, that's what you want to see from him.
Exactly. We were questioning what he was saving his Matrix for, and it was for his teammates. Oh, that just warms the cockles of your heart right there. And that's another part of the Divas kit. Salty has been playing primarily Diva so far, and you can kind of see why. Whereas, you know, it maybe has struggled at times on Anubis, this Diva is really coming alive on King's Row. There's a lot of high ground to protect, and Onigod taking advantage of that vision already right now, trying to bring Water down low. Just make him think twice before he uses this Blizzard, because First Impact want to have the early bite of the apple.
Amplification matrix for the defensive side. A nice call. Blizzard gets eaten by Salty, who's had himself quite a Diva game here on King's Row so far. But on the attacking side this time around, is Onigod also going to throw out that Dragon Strike. Even though Salty gets the kill, the Dragon Strike is going to isolate some of Gladiators' Legion, but it's not going to be enough. The Super Thunder actually survives the ultimate, but Diana will not, as Salty gets another kill, this time with the self-destruct. Third Impact still with all 6 members of their team. Gladiators Legion are going to have to try to come back, because everyone that has been able to make it back to the table.
Oh, we got to change the nursery rhyme. Salty and Spice and everything nice. This Diva's doing it all for Third Impact right now, and the payload hasn't really stopped. Legion have not put up a defense since losing point A, and now they're staring down the barrel of a very, very close cart, nearly there at point B. And even with all of that brawling, Legion still don't have an ultimate in hand. Emil is going to have Bomb soon, might draw out a support ultimate from Third Impact, but again, the attackers strike first.
Robdev has the Tron Transcendence as well. Third Impact already using that Supercharger. Self-destruct gets thrown by Emil. The wall comes up and only gets the Supercharger Transcendence down from Robdev, trying to keep everyone from Third Impact alive. He's doing a really great job out of it. Once his cooldown depletes, it's gonna be fireworks. Onigod has the next ultimate. That's going to be the Dragon Strike, as the Reaper's able to teleport immediately away, and everyone's so glued in to that Dragon Strike. They forgot that Salty looped in the back line with that Death Blossom. Finds 2 Gladiators who can finally get a defense going in the nick of time. Point 86 from that second point, but they still got a ton of time to try to take off the clock.
Could not have come sooner. That shadow step from Dalton, perfectly timed, and he ends up avoiding the Blizzard that Apply throws, and is able to Death Blossom and bring his team back when many members of the Legion defense were frozen in place. So if you're going to find a defense, that's the one. Third Impact now are going to be somewhat stymied. They don't really have any ultimates. Salty's going to have the bomb now, but it might be in their best interest to just go for that eco push. Don't expend any of the resources that you already have, because Legion have a substantial advantage, and in the Death Blossom count as well.
Water spot now. Onigod being able to get an icicle in his face, but it's not enough to do anything else. Water does have that Blizzard as well, and with the Arista Shield and cooldown off, there's going to be some opportunity for the Blizzard to go through. The Halt trying to keep Water away, but the Blizzard goes. Dalton's going to go. Let's see if he's going to boot you. Bomb! no, it doesn't look good. Salty trying to do what Bijou was able to do all last season in the playoffs, but this time around just looks cool. And that's about it.
Hey, A for effort, and the theory is sound. Legion just managed to duck behind the cart this time around, but more importantly, what they've done is cut Third Impact down to just a minute and a half. And remember, folks, Third Impact needs to complete the entire map. They can't be satisfied with a simple point B take, but they have a power spike in Rob Dab's Coalescence. They're going to be dueling, potentially crossing streams, he and Wolf, and Legion also have that extra bonus in the Supercharger. So if Legion strike first, once again, Third Impact should probably just back off. They don't have a lot of time, but they have less resources.
I don't know, Ham, because Third Impact are looking at 1 minute 5 ultimates on the other side. You can't just back off because then only one ultimate will be used for Legion. You got to try to force them to take as many ultimates away from them as possible. And right now, Dalton keeping that death loss. They're actually pushing him right away to spawn. 10-player kill streak for Dalton in the late game of King's Row. Third Impact had so much time coming into Streets phase, and now they're down to 38 seconds.
Third Impact tried to back off once they saw the Supercharger come down, but Legion chased them down and not only got the kills, which was going to happen anyways, but they padded that ultimate economy. So Third Impact do come in with their own Supercharger and Blizzard now, but it's just going to be a battle of who pulls that trigger. Legion are going to be bolstered. They have the superior positioning. Dalton could just shadow step into the backline right now.
That's what he did last time around, and it really worked. The Blizzard comes through. It gets eaten, though. Emil's going to eat the Blizzard, and that's really bad news for Third Impact. That plus just coming to the backline. Defense Matrix is enough to keep everyone alive for the time being, but the defect comes through. Blizzard now from water. Down there, though, is going to keep most of Third Impact alive, but the self-destruct goes into the backline. The kills now are going to fall the way of Legion, and Third Impact will not be able to overcome Legion's defense here on King's Row if they allow Legion to clean them up, which is exactly what's happening with Wolf and his Coalescence. He's doing a good job staying alive longer than I think a lot of people might have anticipated, but it's all Legion on this payload right now. The overtime leg will end, and Gladiators Legion are 1 win away from going to Korea, which is an insane story because they were 1 map away from not even making it into this playoff bracket.
There was a potential world where Legion get relegated this season. What a bounce back. Royal Purple triumphs over the Lavender, in this case on King's Row, but in a 1-3 matchup. Legion are that much closer to heading to the Giga Stadium in Korea. Third Impact, they had some great moments, but once the momentum is gone from this team, they have a really hard time playing from behind.
Well, they look different than what they did when they were Grunto, really. Something that we always talked about Grunto is explosivity, right? Being able to take advantage of all picks. And right now, Third Impact struggling a little bit with that identity, I think, against Gladiators Legion. I think that's more on Gladiators Legion, making them think twice about a lot of decisions, which is not something that Third Impact has really done in the past. Thinking twice was not really in their vocabulary. They might be thinking a little too much about a lot of these plays, trying to outthink Gladiators Legion when they might be better off playing their own game the way that they know how, rather than trying to continuously outsmart this other team, because I think they've wasted a lot of just time in some of these pushes. And I know with these comps, time is of the essence, and these fights last so much longer. So just by the length of these fights, you're not getting as many as you used to. So you have to make each fight a little bit more impactful, and Third Impact not doing that.
No, unfortunately not able to live up to their namesake. There were some really amazing moments from Salty in particular on this round, really making an impact for his team. But
stop it.
But unfortunately, the apply curse seems to strike. When Salty's hot, Apply and Onigod's struggling at times. When Onigod and Apply are doing well, Salty fairly quiet. And so Gladiators Legion kind of through brute force of will and, of course, some amazing mechanics from Dalton here, win out on King's Row. And at this point in time, I think we can generally expect for most teams to be able to finish King's Row. So it really says something that Legion were able to halt them right in Streets phase.
Yeah, Dalton's had himself quite a playoff series so far, and that's what Overwatch League teams are looking at. Is a lot of these Contenders players have had good games. A lot of these, most of them have had good maps. They have had multiple good series, because that's what you're going to need in a multi-game, multi-stage season like the Overwatch League. And you have to show that you can do that here in Contenders before you can even be looked at when you go into Overwatch League, because Dalton's been doing it this season. I think a good example of that are Ellie and Troll from Envy from a little earlier this season and last season. It's every game they were able to perform. It wasn't a fluke, but every once in a while, like it is for some of our other players who are a little streaky. And I think Dalton has moved into that echelon where I think teams might start looking at this guy, because he's shown that here in the playoffs, he can perform. He's got a friendly meta now too, and this consistency will only bring him upwards.
Exactly, and with all of this added pressure as well, he's playing, all of these teams are playing not just for the bragging rights, of course, not just for the experience or even the chance to go to Contenders finals. They want to face off against international competition, represent North America on the world stage. And so with all of that in mind, Dalton's ability to perform here has been extremely impressive. And of course, the rest of Legion as well, Rolf and Lude, they're applying all of the support that the DPS, the heal-hungry DPS constantly need. Everybody really functioning as one.
Yeah, Gladiators Legion, you got to give props to those supports, because Dalton and Water are playing like they know they're going to get that healing, and sometimes that does not happen. Let's talk about Third Impact a little bit before we get into our last game, because they're on the brink of ending their season. They are the second seed here, and this might be a case of might have been nice to play a game before coming in here. At least they got some tape on Legion, and they are more competitive than Uprising Academy was in their game yesterday, but Third Impact lacking in some way. What would you say is something that they're lacking in terms of this series so far?
I mean, it sounds kind of like a cop-out, but they're just not working together. And a lot of the players that we've seen pop off for this team in the past aren't doing so. And whether that's because they're not as warm as Legion are, whether it's because of the meta and the heroes that they're playing right now, because Umte can be a very explosive tank, and he's done just that for Third Impact former Grunto.
He's super streaky though.
He is super streaky, and add that plus the, reduced playmaking ability of Orisa versus Reinhardt and Winston, and I think that's also something that's influencing Third Impact's playstyle right now. Of course, that on top of adding Apply, who, while not a new player to the Overwatch scene, is new to this team, and layer on that the new meta.
So they're going to veg Oni God this time around. It seemed like they're just going to do a ring around the rosy. Are they able to get some picks? No, that was a good concussive grenade, though. And Gladiators Legion are going to start on the defensive side, choosing to let Third Impact set the tempo for Rialto, as Third Impact does choose this map. So we'll see if it's going to be a good choice for them. It's the first time we've seen Rialto today. From the darkness of King's Row to the lightness of Rialto seems really nice. And the big thing about Rialto is angles, right? So positioning and line of sight will be affected just by the environment here on Rialto. And so far, they're just letting the payload move so they can find a better spot to contest. And Water has been a good Pharah in the past. Another streaky character for him. Water has been one of the streakiest. We like to use that term, but he's been one of the streakiest members of any Contenders team in all of Contenders. And Pharah has been amazing. I remember him getting a 5K on Dorado, but at the same time, I also remember a game on Oasis where he hit the sky ceiling and ulted absolutely nobody. And so which one are we going to see? So far today, Water has been streaky on a couple of these characters. Junkrat, Genji, not really doing a ton. It's been that team play coming in from Gladiators Legion that I really think has been putting them ahead of Third Impact, as we're still just jostling for position and getting the poke damage in.
Yeah, whoever gets first ultimate is going to have a major advantage. Wolf could actually just put this on Emil and let him get into the face of Apply and Wub. There's a double sniper here, which means that Third Impact are investing a ton into countering Water. It's a lot of respect shown to a player who can be very streaky, but as of right now, Third Impact are going to have to go for the reset. Oh man, Water is just, he's like dealing the multi-kill, man. 5K tire on Anubis, and then a 2K barrage, But
well, that's what you want. That's the least. That is the minimum.
You need to get at least 2.
Right? You got to get the 2-fer, because you're probably going to die during the channel. Yeah. You're standing still in the air, and you yell super loud, and everyone knows where those rockets are coming from, right? So a good team like you should be able to take you out, but you can do damage fast enough to take 2 members out at the same time, giving your team a 5v4. Those numbers are really good for Legion, and Water's going to switch over to the Genji in response to how Third Impact is trying to counter the Pharah into the air. The Dragon Strike isn't enough to take Water down. The Nano's already there onto Water. They're putting a lot of investment into this Genji, and it's going to be working. And honestly, I think the Genji doing more to distract than anything else. He wasn't doing a ton himself, but all eyes were on this Genji, so the rest of the team were able to find even more kills.
Oh, but Water goes in very deep. He's still hungry. Get the Mercy. Mercy manages to live, but Legion hold on for another day, and Water is 70% up to that blade. No worries about comboing an EMP here. That's not what Legion are running. Water's Genji can be a massive threat, a great part in this bunker comp, because Third Impact invested in 2 snipers, and the Genji dashes right in your face. Unless you're, I don't know, Taimo or Pine, you're not going to be able to react quickly enough.
Self-destruct goes into the backline. The Earth Shield isn't going to be moved. It's not going to matter. Dragon Strike going to try to use the payload and a little bit of Snow Cone as well. The team on the top side is going to get Mag. Are you going to push off the mech this time around too? Yes, another BC bomb finds nothing, but here's that Dragon Blade. He's going to get right to the back line, and with the help of the they're going to be able to wipe Third Impact. They're down to 30 seconds.
This is not looking good for Third Impact. They're on their 3rd team comp now, essentially, with Apply now on the Mei, and they're trying for something a little bit more meta-centric, but Gladiators Legion have such a massive advantage, and now Dalton will be able to zone this entire corridor with his dragons.
He's going to do just that. He spotted exactly where Third Impact was. Nice pulse as well, trying to push in a little bit more damage into Third Impact. Water does get taken, though. He's going to have to get some resources invested in him. He's still the only one on the high ground. They're ignoring him for now. I think that was a lesson from the last time. The Nano does go onto the Genji. He's going to Swift Strike into the team, but then just use it to walk away. Not a lot of value from this Nano, and it looks like Third Impact have pushed Gladiators even far enough back to contest this first point. Will they be able to grab it? No one knows just yet. The Blizzard comes through. Apply uses it against Gladiators Legion. Gladiators Legion already taken very low. Water so close to that Dragon Blade. Are you going to let it rip if he's able to get it? 32 HP and a Dream. No, he holds on to it. It's the first time this series he's done that, and I'm so glad that he did, because even though Third Impact are able to grab this point, he has that ult to stop them once more.
It was working so well for Legion, this Hanzo Genji brothers camaraderie, but unfortunately you are very squishy, and Third Impact have a Mei and a Reaper, so the tanks of Legion got shredded, and there just weren't enough ultimates to make up for it at that point. But Street's phase are definitely going to look a little bit more favorable. Of course, though, Kalios has Bomb as well to draw out some ultimates or force position.
Dragon Strike now from Dalton is going to give that Dragon Blade a good opportunity to make some noise and get some slice and dice in. But just one Flip Strike is going to be enough. Legion do maintain Tupper's advantage. The goal there is to use the Dragon Strike to get people to get isolated and then take them down with that Dragon Blade. And the Death Loss is going to get a whole lot of nothing in the middle of this fight. And Legion have done enough, especially now that Emil's got 2 kills.
Definitely, absolutely a hard reset for Third Impact. And now this is also a pretty dangerous spot for them to cross. Have the Hulk, have the Sleep from both as well. And Dalton's just waiting for the rest of his team to help him line up a shot. Water is also extremely close to that Dragon Blade. Yeah, he just used it. However, Third Impact have a very good shot here with Apply's Blizzard, either as a proactive ultimate, but I would recommend saving it for when Water pops that ultimate.
The Nano's there, so is the Nano Blade. This is a ton of damage going their way. 2 HP, but he is able to take down the Orisa. Is that going to be enough? And there is a disconnect from Third Impact, so that's going to give Gladiators Legion even numbers. That's super unfortunate. I believe it was Wub who disconnected, and he was making some things happen on that Doomfist at the time. We'll see if that's going to impact their chances, because we're in a very sticky situation for Third Impact. They were almost held at Courtyard on point A. They were able to break through, but they're running out of time right now, and they just lost Wub.
Yeah, that's a feels bad. But the good news is Doomfist is not a character that relies on his ult. So he can make a ton of impact once he comes back in from spawn regardless. And it's one of the reasons why Doomfist is still a great hero if your team wants to run that kind of dive-esque keep away type composition, because you don't need to wait for the late fight in order to find impact, unlike say a Sombra, which we've also seen. You know, dude, we just gotta figure out another way to call third impact. I say TI, the artist now known as TI, because it's just too many pun opportunities.
Well, TI is an actual single.
I know.
Okay, so the Gladiators Legion will start this fight off, but Robdab with a nice biotic orb gonna find 2 in the end as third impact will weather the disconnect and come back strong. 30 seconds remaining. Gladiators Legion should be able to defend once more.
Yeah, this is actually kind of a bit of a blessing in disguise, because Water got nothing for that Blizzard, and now Avi's the one who has that Ice Ball in his hand.
Dragon Strike's going to try to separate third impact. He's actually going to get a kill as well. The Hulk helping out with that. Blizzard going to be dropped on top of the wall. That is not good placement coming in from Avi. Dalton now going to try to hunt for some heads. The vision is there. The Sonic Arrow definitely helping out in terms of positioning for the Legion. Third impact are functioning without one member. Dalton gets another pick with that base. Self-destruct doesn't get anyone from Emil. The Doofus is in the back line, but the Immortality Field is going to help that Anna, even though Luddy's going to fall. No supports now, though, for Gladiators. Potential opportunity for third impact. Come right back, take back the payload, but there's only so much one Doofus can do as the overtime wick will deplete, and third impact are one push away from losing their season. Gladiators Legion one push away from going to South Korea, representing North America at the Gauntlet. What a turnaround that would be, from being the last team to qualify for playoffs to being one of the ones that qualify for the Gauntlet in South Korea. And it's only going to help them. They've got a ton of Korean players on that roster. So once they do make it to LAN, this team is going to just get better.
Yeah, it's really scary stuff shaping up for Gladiators Legion, but it's not all over for third impact. Remember, they struggled so mightily to take Courtyard and that point A, just working around and really running their time bank down, that the fact that they managed to get past the staircase of death on Streets phase and almost touch point B is still to be commended, but of course it might not be enough, which is the unfortunate thing for third impact fans. Gladiators Legion now have their win condition etched out for them. Dalton has had a great hand with his Hanzo so far. No shenanigans here. Water's just going to be on the Mei. I think it's a great pick. When you have that golden box of victory, you know exactly how far you need to take that card.
Oh, thank you.
Water, we love you too.
Oh, I thought it was a butt.
It's a peach.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just saying, healthy lunches, eat your fruit, kids. That's... No,
Aww.
It's love.
No, this is lovely.
Love. It's definitely love. Oh, man. Well, hey, spreading the good feelings all around. Not sure if any of that love is going to be headed third impact's way, but...
That should be a game mode. You should be able to draw on the wall and play Pictionary with your friends.
Oh my god.
Someone on the
Somebody
workshop.
that
Could actually be super fun.
Please.
Anyway, back to this very important game.
Yeah,
Gladiators Legion and third impact
Season
Legion.
on the line.
Match point. They have to beat third impact's leaders. 102.81 on the second phase of Rialto. Gladiators Legion going to choose to run Dalton on the Reaper. This has been very good for them in the past. Water's going to be on the Mei. Water on the Mei has not been actually, nothing's really been consistent for Water so far at this game. Like, he's had highs, he's had lows. The Mei has had just a little bit more low than high. Let's see if the history will change for Water. It looks like it might, as he's boosting up that ult charge right now. Still not beating Apply, who, in my opinion, had a pretty consistent Mei, but it hasn't quite been enough with the team around him. Gladiators Legion now, look at this. Emil, Roll, Stand 1, and even Dalton all close to 80% on that ult charge. This could be an easy fight win for Legion as they're really beating third impact in terms of ultimate autonomy. We're going to see that come into play right here and right now. Stand 1 going to use the supercharge to defuse that Coalescence. Is going to be doing a lot of damage as well as that Biotic Orb. You're seeing that HP just melt away from third impact, and that is a masterclass of how to use an ultimate advantage with Gladiators Legion.
Exactly. It's okay to use what you have here because you know the win condition. I was saying earlier that Water doesn't need to be Genji, doesn't need to be Pharah, nothing fancy. All you need is that consistency. Third impact going to be searching for a bit more of that. Wolf's Coalescence, that early game spike, really helping out, and Rob's going to have that soon.
Wup tried his best. He got down to like 1 HP and had to run right away. 4 minutes and 49 seconds remain for Gladiators Legion to win their way into South Korea. They still have a good ultimate advantage as Dalton and Water and Luddy still have those ults. Third Impact, though, will have 6 ultimates for this next fight. So if Third Impact lose this next fight, in my opinion, it's over.
It's also on them. They have the opportunity to strike first. A lot of times when your back's against the wall and you don't have a ton of distance, there's nothing to lose with popping the first ultimate. See if you can find a squishy with Rob Dab's Coalescence. Maybe you'll kill Luddy before he can use Sound Barrier.
We've seen it happen in the past. We saw it yesterday as Gladiators Legion walking in with 3 ultimates. Blizzard's going both ways. It's going to be a cold Rialto for the time being. Coalescence and Sound Barrier layered on top of each other. I'm not sure that's going to make them happy. That's a mental mistake. I've seen it. Dalton going to get protected by the defense matrix from Emil. Not getting any kills from the Death Blossom. Death Blossom coming the other way now. Still no kills from these ultimate. Talios going to find that self-destruct. No maze for either side. Emil gets the next. So the defense matrix is not going to be available for Gladiators Legion. They're going to fall by the wayside. It's Third Impact clawing their way back into this game. They still have 3 minutes and 38 seconds to work through.
Whew, that was a close one, though. It was very lucky that Dalton got nothing for that Death Blossom. Could easily have spelled doom for Third Impact's defense. As it is, Kalio's not feeling too dejected right here. A lot of friendly waves going on, but they don't have a ton of ultimates, so it's got to be the good old-fashioned vanilla game for Third Impact. Legion also already owned the high ground, so this is highly advantageous for both Emil and Water. Stand 1 will also have this supercharger, so Third Impact need to be thinking now about an escape route. How are we going to avoid this damage? Because we can't tank it.
Gladiators Legion gonna use the wall to force Third Impact to go the way that they want them to go. Gladiators Legion also have that self-destruct. Will Stand 1 supercharger result in any kills? It's another coalescence now from Rob Dab is gonna help take the supercharger away. And now the self-destruct getting into the back line does make it past the wall, and Apply will fall. That's what happens when you don't time that wall out correctly. He's gonna go ahead and die. Gladiators Legion now gonna use that Blizzard there, smelling the food of Korea at this moment in time. It's good stuff, I know. Gladiators Legion now so very close to punching their ticket.
Kimchi, bulgogi, bibimbap, it's all on the menu. Gladiators Legion, they got Sound Barrier to keep Dalton alive. Last time he couldn't find anything with the Death Blossom, but this time he just might. But Third Impact have Blizzard.
Sound Barrier used right away, so if Dalton just waits it out, he's going to have an opportunity to use that Death Blossom bluff, using the cover of the Blizzard to try to pepper in a little bit more damage into Gladiators Legion, who are not falling. Everyone's still pretty healthy. The Death Blossom is going to be destroyed on both sides, and Dalton is going to be the one that falls. 65 down for Third Impact to have the coalescence. This should be it for Gladiators Legion on this push. We're past the 2-minute warning. Gladiators Legion wasting those ultimates on this engage. Dalton getting a little ahead of himself for that Death Blossom. Third Impact stayed alive.
Yeah, he was literally alone in that back line with no Sound Barrier. Third Impact, they're going to take care of a Reaper all on his lonesome. And now it is up to Legion. It's 1 minute, 30 seconds. Maybe one good push and a stagger is all that's going to be available. And they have to watch out for Kalios' bombs. The Mei walls have not been very successful so far at stopping that ultimate.
Gladiators Legion using the Coalescence Supercharger combo. That is that bomb you were talking about. Takes down the extra damage and actually nerfs that Coalescence just a little bit. He's going to have to push it away. He had to stay safe from that bomb. The halt into the Blizzard. Not enough. Emil could make some noise in the back line, and that's exactly what happens. 3 kills for Emil. That is a ticket-punching self-destruct for Gladiators Legion. The man who has struggled through the regular season is going to be the one that gets them to South Korea, as Gladiators Legion so very close to reaching the gauntlet. They gotta clean it up. That they will here shortly, as Gladiators Legion with about 30 seconds to spare on the brink of wrapping up their match here and moving on to the final.
Gladiators Legion have this Sound Barrier. They can hear the K-pop of Korea calling now. However, Zolik has the save. Third Impact still alive in this, somewhat just delaying the inevitable at this point, though. Gladiators Legion ready with yet another one of Emil's bombs. This time around, he wasn't satisfied with just one. He's got to save the team twice. That's obviously the play here, but Gladiators Legion, Royal Purple, trying to triumph over the Lavender, but Kalios has not made it easy.
Well, this is a very, very good stall for Third Impact. It's still going to be Gladiators Legion finishing out this map unless Third Impact are able to pull off a miracle. It looks like they're becoming closer and closer to potentially getting that done, but no ultimates. And now Gladiators Legion finish it out. They're going to the finals in the bracket, but more importantly, they're going to South Korea. What a turnaround of a season. One map away from not even making it into this bracket. And now they're going to be one of North America's representatives.
Yeah, everybody on this Legion squad should feel very pleased, but especially Emil, who was forced onto the Sombra due to the meta and really struggled. Legion never quite getting comfortable throughout the entire Contenders season, now coming alive and on Diva too, in a big way, being the deciding ultimate that got them those 3 kills and pushed the cart into the finals. That's just, you couldn't ask for a better fairy tale ending.
I hope he's getting those, noogies right there, those head rubs, those elbow pats.
K-pop for dinner tonight, folks.
Yeah, everyone's got to celebrate with some Korean barbecue because that's where you're going to be headed at the end of the year. Gladiators Legion taking down another non-Academy team. So far, the Academy teams are 2 for 2 going into the gauntlet. We'll see if that's going to change in the second half. That's going to be it for Ham and I today. What was the highlight for you?
Oh, still has to be the 5.5K tire.
Of course.
It's just so it's like something that you dream about happening, but you are like, oh, well, it's never going to actually happen. It's impossible.
Emil gets my vote for POTG. Yes. Right there, especially with that last triple kill bomb. That was an enormous boon to their chances. When you're able to take down 3 immediately, your team will be in the driver's seat for the rest of that fight. They take Rialto and move to 3-1 and end Third Impact season. So we gotta get a little sappy here because Third Impact, another one of those teams that really surprised. They were chicken contendees a season ago, then Grunto during the regular season, and then Third Impact. And while they might be a team of many names, something that they were able to do was capture the capture the second seed in this group. This was a buy for them. They overachieved throughout the entire season, and a lot of this was also very competitive. It was very close. No team, remember, finished Anubis, and so Gladiators Legion just in the end just having a little bit more moxie to overcome what Third Impact was going. But Third Impact, again, you should be very proud of what you were able to do, overachieving. And let's not call it overachieving, actually. They achieved what they deserved because they, in the regular season, were beasts. They almost took a map off of Atlanta on Havana, if we all remember that, forcing them to really push for their golden season. So Third Impact, you're going to come away with this with a lot of memories, and potentially next season, another opportunity to make it to the gauntlet.
Yeah, very excited for what's coming in the future seasons. But first, folks, we got 2 more semifinals coming our way. That's going to decide who is going to be facing off in the grand finals. But again, we're all